Guys, welcome back to my channel, and as per usual, welcome back. Hey, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So as promised, I'm bringing you part 2 to my intro video, kind of going more into depth about my life and who I am and whatnot. So let's get into this video. So in my first video, I kind of left off talking about how I ended up getting my GED and going ahead and going to college. And I went to college first, applied for JCTC, and ended up getting my GED after that, because they allowed for you to sign up for school. And y'all messing with my shirt because I got a little baby fat, because I just had a baby. So, but I still got a little baby fat, but I'm gonna get rid of that, but everything else is nice. So anyways, I went ahead and applied for JCTC, and I ended up getting my GED afterwards. So I applied probably in the summer, and school started in August, and I got my GED in September and turned it in. So, and I kind of went more into depth about that little process. Not really, but to a certain extent, I did in the first video. So, and I kind of had that video's kind of long, so I'm trying to keep this short, short and sweet. I'm not sure about to say like me, but anyways. So I ended up going to school, and at the time my son was still alive. In the previous video I mentioned that I had a son, and I am a teen mom, or I was a teen mom. I had a child, my first child, my son, when I was 16, and it didn't keep me from going to regular high school or anything. But what changed my life is my son got injured, and that was a turning point in my life. So that's what caused me to withdraw out of school, because I felt like, and I kind of went over this in the first video, that my priority is as a parent is to my child, regardless of my age. So anywho, I ended up getting that GED. I had went to school 2011, and my son was still living. At the end of that semester, in December, my son actually passed away. So he passed away December the 7th of 2011, and it was the day of finals. My son passed away. It's crazy. I'll never forget that day, because I had just did finals, and it was raining that day. It was like a gloomy day. That's another story. But anyway, so what I was saying about in the video is that I don't do anything traditional, and I had to learn that the hard way. So I always feel like I was traditional, and in a sense I think I was traditional, but once I started smelling myself, as our parents would like to say, and I got he wasn't my first boyfriend, but he was my second, and he was like I said, he was 2 years my senior. He was when I met him, I was a freshman and he was a junior, and so date somebody, thought I was so in love and stuff and whatnot, ended up getting pregnant, things change. So, over time I realized that I'm not as traditional as I would like to believe, or how I used to believe that I was. So, I started school. So, mind you, in the first video I was saying that the case manager that was with Coast-Airs, my son was with Coast-Airs. Anybody that, a lot of people know about Coast-Airs. Even if you don't live in Louisville or from Kentucky or whatever, you know about Coast-Airs. So my son was at Coast-Airs Children's Hospital. The caseworker there, remember I told you in the last video that she was basically trying to convince me to go ahead and get my GED. I was 16 at the time. So she basically kept saying, I want you to go get your GED and go to college. You're a smart girl, you can do it, and all that. And I was like, no, I want to go, and do it the right way, because I'm traditional, and I want to graduate high school the right way and go to prom and blah 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 blah. All that stuff. So I didn't do it anyways. I didn't even do what I was planning to do. I ended up withdrawing from school. I ended up going to get my GED, and I ended up going to college. Like, I should have just listened to her in the first place, but that's my fault. And honestly, I learned from that experience in my life, that part of my life, it taught me to follow my gut or my first instinct, or sometimes even just to consider a different path. Because I was so like straightforward, like this is, like tunnel vision type of person. Like, it has to be done this way, only this way. And that situation, that event in my life, it made me realize, it made me have to change my life in order, because I always wanted to go to college. I always planned to go to college. I always, planned on being in the medical field. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be a doctor, but, that's a whole nother story. It's not a whole nother story. I'm going to get into it in this video. So, I wanted to be a doctor. I always wanted to be in the medical field. I always wanted to help other people, and, I feel like that was my calling. This is why you don't let nobody, my story should be proof within itself that you shouldn't let anything or anybody keep you from doing what you initially want to do. Because 9 times out of 10, what you initially want to do, what your heart is set on, you're going to end up going right back around and doing it anyways. So stick to it, stick to the plan. But what I was saying is, that situation, my son and him getting injured and whatnot, those events showed me that, there's sometimes you can take different paths to get to the same location, to get to the same destination. You know what I'm saying? Which is exactly what happened. I'm not gonna say that, because I'm not trying to enable anybody that is young to not go through high school and do it that way. That's not at all what I'm saying. But for the people who their lives went in a different direction, or they feel like their back is up against the wall, or it's never going to be this way, that's a lie. You know what I'm saying? So, if for whatever reason in your life, I don't know what anybody's life is, and it's up to a person to feel comfortable with telling their own story. But whatever your story is, there's a lot of people out here who don't have high school diplomas. I don't want to ramble too much. I feel like I'm not going to start rambling. So, just know that it's not the end of the world if something doesn't go as planned. So anyway, what I was saying is, I ended up, still doing exactly what she said I should have did. And not saying that my way was the wrong way, but it would have been a whole lot quicker, because honestly, I would have been way further educationally if I would have just went that route. So anyways, I ended up, going in, picking my major to be nursing. So my plan was to obviously go to a university. So I was going to transfer from JCTC and go into U of L. That was my goal, or University of Louisville. And so I ended up picking my major as nursing, and I started school. And I had my CNA. I still have my CNA, and I was working as a CNA as well, at the time too, because I just wanted to make sure I had everything, that I needed in order to get, transition into nursing school. And like I said before, I knew that getting, taking that nursing aid class or having your CNA is a good thing, and it helps you get to nursing school. So I already had that, I had the experience. I was working in a nursing home. Now I'm in school, and this is why I say stick to your goals. Don't let anybody, make you feel like, oh, maybe not, maybe I shouldn't do that. Don't ever let it, because other people's experiences won't account for your experience. Of course, you take into consideration, what they're saying, because there's some truth to what they're saying. But if this is what you want, then you go for it. So, while working as a nurse's aide, I was working in a nursing home, which is totally different. And I had to learn this too. Working in a nursing home, whether you're an aide or a nurse, is totally different than working in a hospital or any type of other setting, or a doctor's office. It's totally different. So, but then I didn't know that. I felt like everything, this is nursing, like this is it. There is no other avenues, and that's a lie. So, while working at the nursing home, I had, around a lot of nurses, obviously LPNs, RNs, BSNs are just the ones that just have their associates, BSNs and nurse practitioners, blah blah blah. So while being around a lot of these nurses was not happy. They didn't like their lives. They didn't like their jobs. They were unhappy. And being young and easily, I feel like looking up to these women or these men, looking up to men because they're in a position I want to be in. Hearing all that negative feedback, it just kind of made me like, ooh, I started questioning, do I really want to do this? Do I want to be miserable? So, my ultimate goal in life is happiness above all things. So I was listening to them like, I don't want to be miserable. I don't want to be, coming home from work and hate my job. Like, if you know me, everybody who really knows me that once I don't like a job, because a job and a career are two different things. I'm out of here, so I don't like a relationship, a friendship, something I don't like, I feel like I'm not benefiting from it, I'm out of here, which is not, I guess, not always good, because sometimes you gotta give things a chance. I feel like I give things a chance, but I'm not gonna keep giving chances. But anyways, so just listening to them and their negative feedback, and I was talking to them, I was like, I'm in school and I want to do nursing, blah blah blah, and just so happy and so just like joyful about wanting to be a nurse. And here they are like, you gotta be a nurse, like you're not gonna like it. And I wish I would have chose something different when I was in, instead of picking nursing and blah blah blah. So, and then being on campus with young ladies that were already in the nursing program, and they were stressed out, crying, like just hearing the horror stories there. I chickened out. And I switched my major, and I switched it to psychology, which is still close to the medical field, which is the medical field. What am I talking about? It's the medical field. So I was like, well, I just want to do nursing. Let me tell you this, because I said that I want to be a doctor growing up. We are our own worst enemies, because me having a child at the time, I had 2 children, remember that? So I told you that I ended up having my daughter at 18. I didn't start college until a little bit after that, in the end of that year. So I was already, I think it was already 19. So I had her, yeah, something like that. It's like 19. So I had 2 children. And then when I started school, I had 2 children. Remember, my son passed away in December of my first semester. I had a completely disabled child. I had another child, and I'm only 19. So I was like, what? Instead of being a doctor, instead of having my desires and goals up here, I'm gonna bring it down just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe I can attain this because I got all this going on. I got disabled child, and then I have another child, and I still have to work and maintain and take care of these 2 kids and whatnot. So instead of keeping my goals here, I brought it down here. Just a little bit. So I felt like that was more attainable. So nursing. So that's how I got to nursing. Because I like I said, I always wanted to be a doctor. But and then I was like, again, this whole traditional thing, like, my life's not traditional, and I'm not gonna be able to achieve that still out of school. And at the time, nobody knew my son was gonna pass away. And so that was another thing. Once he did pass away, I didn't change my major the first semester. I changed my major, I feel like the 3rd semester or something, and that I was in school. So it's a year and a half. Maybe like within that 3rd semester, I changed it. So maybe just a year of college, whatever. I changed it to psychology. And like I was saying, I just, as far as, I kind of forgot what I say, sorry. But as far as me changing to psychology, I just was like, I was laying in bed thinking, I was like, no, I'm gonna go to just do psychology because I feel like I can still help people and I won't have the stress of nursing school or feel like how these nurses feel out in the real world. So that's why I changed to psychology. I ended up loving psychology. I like psychology, which I later learned that you can get a certificate in mental health or something like that and still be a nurse, which is absolutely lovely for me because now it puts together two things I really want. So I'll get to that in a minute. So I ended up changing psychology. So then I was just like, then my professor, my psychology professor, like she did most of the classes at JCPC. You know, honestly, all that changing your major and not knowing what you want to do and being undecided. For a minute, I was undecided after psychology because I was like, okay, let me tell you a story. So my teacher, professor of psychology, she did like a couple of the psychology courses, so I kind of had her more than one. And she was at U of L getting her master's as well. She was finishing up her master's, and you could have at least a certain amount of credits into your master's program and still be able to teach. So that's what she was doing. But she kind of had like she kind of had this like dry. She had a dry sense of humor, but I like her though, because I'm a little dry myself. So I like those type of people that's real sarcastic and kind of like in your face sarcastic, and I like that because I'm that type of person. So I understood her, but she just basically was like, if you go into psychology, you're not gonna make no money unless you're a psychiatrist. And I was like, undecided. So anyway, it's not to say it's all about the money, but okay. So anyway, so I ended up going undecided, and then I ended up doing Metroversity. For anybody that's here, I don't know if other schools in different states do Metroversity or some type of something similar to it, but Metroversity is basically where while you're at one school, you can take classes at another school. So basically you're going to two schools, but your home school is where you take most of your classes. So I did that at U of L, and I did 2 semesters there, and I did like one of them I did 2 classes, but then I ended up dropping one of them. And then so I did a philosophy class there, which I loved it. And the professor was a lawyer, I can't remember his name, but it was an early class too. It was so early, it was like 8:50 class. And which I liked because there was nobody really on campus and all that. So he was sarcastic. I'll tell you, I love sarcastic people. So he was sarcastic in your face, you know. I love his class. And then I took some type of history, I think. I don't even remember. But I didn't like that class. I don't remember it. But took that class, and you know, I got C in there. I didn't care. I was like, I don't know. But you know, I did it just kind of get that elective. And I was supposed to take a Spanish class, but that's the class that I had dropped because it was too much going on. You know, it was too much going on. And let me tell you, I went on to, you know, so you go onto campus for these classes, wherever school you're doing, the Metroversity or whatever you want to call it, whatever state you in, if y'all do that. And so my Spanish class was in the afternoon. And I remember, you know, I had early morning class, was my philosophy class. And then in the afternoon around like 2 something, goes to my Spanish class. And I remember like how different it was from morning to afternoon on campus. And I was looking, you know, let me tell you, it was just people everywhere. It was people everywhere, just a lot going on. In the classroom was a lot going on, just a lot, you know, which ain't nothing bad with that. But I know I didn't want to be in any type of environment where I can get thrown off my game. And I definitely feel like I would have got thrown off my game. It was just too much temptation, too much everything going on there in the afternoon. So I dropped that class. And basically from there, I ended up transferring fully. I graduated my associate's degree, and it just was my like general education, like all of those electives. And I had a lot because, like I said, I changed my major twice while I was there. Went undecided, and so I had a lot of electives and just stuff that I probably didn't need. So when I transferred over to Spalding, which is where I graduated from my bachelor's, I had like you know, I think the associates be like 60 credits, maybe 65 or something like that. It's like 60, and I had over that. So I went on to Spalding, and Spalding's very expensive. It's very expensive semester. I think when I was going, a semester was like $8,000 just for that semester. That's not even books. And you know, I lived in my own apartment, so I didn't have to stay on campus or anything. But I did attempt that. I did like consider that like a dumbass. But just still trying to have that little tradition, even though I'm not traditional, because I have kids. You know, I had a kid at the time, and you know, I was wanting to live in like those apartment dorm, whatever they are, where it's basically like apartments that students live in. And I went to go and do like a little, I guess, tour of 2 of them here. And let me tell you a story. So I guess you can say I'm a little hot. So I went and did the Providence, and I went and did the Bellamy. And anybody know, it be jumping. So Providence, I was like, you know, it's like a hotel. I was like, it's not really for me. So when it did Bellamy, and it was like, look, you don't have a child. So she's like, they're like, you have to pay for your room and her room, basically. And so that way nobody else could be in there. And I'm like, that's a lot of money. But this time I had student aid. I mean, I had financial aid, so I was like, all right. And so thank God I didn't do that. But anyway, so I went and visited the Providence, did a tour, and these fine, like, ooh, they were so fine. There's some athletes. I guess they play basketball. I don't know, but they walk. It's like the doors open, like, ooh. And I love me an athlete. You know what I'm saying? So the doors open, they walk through, and it's like the sun just. I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna work. I was like, he's like, the tour, whatever, was like, are you sure? You know, it was the guy, whatever. He's like, are you sure, girl? I was like, yeah, I'm sure it's not gonna work because, go home. Gonna take my ass home. So, anyway, so I didn't do that, thank God. I think I got some type of sense, something, you know, so I didn't do that. And anyways, I kind of just, that was just like a little story time in the middle of this video. But I ended up going to Spalding. I ended up graduating with I ended up choosing a degree. I was just like, just do something, Kara. Just finish this thing up. So I ended up choosing to get my bachelor's in business administration. And my counselor was like, hey, you know, you can get, just with a couple credits, you can get a double major too. Just do your double major in accounting. But I was like, oh, that sounds nice. Throw that in there too. So I got my bachelor's, I got a double major business administration with accounting. So yeah, no minor. But anyways, but I just kind of skated through there. And I don't do anything with it. I don't do anything with it because it's a choice. Not to say, people like, oh, there ain't no jobs out here. And I was like, there are jobs out here, but I was doing interviews and I was like, I don't want to do this because that's not where my heart was. My heart and my soul is in the medical field. All my work history, my job experience, all in the medical field. I don't care if it's being a nurse's aide or, working in registration or insurance. That's all I've done. I have done nothing outside of the medical field. That's where I want to be. It's where my heart is. So, I graduated in 2017. Gives you an idea of how long it took me to get my together. From switching your majors and stuff that really can mess you up. It costs you money too. So, and I put that major in there, the extra double major, because I was just being extra, and put me in for another, falling in the 6-week session, 6 and 8 week session. So you kind of can move a little bit faster, but I added that extra I was supposed to be done in 2016, but I ended up finishing in 2017 because I was like, shoot, might as well kill two birds with one stone. Might as well get that double. So, which I don't feel like I made a bad decision by doing that, because you know it's something I'm always gonna have, and I could put it together with what I'm trying to do now. So what I'm trying to do now is I ended up having 2 more children. Obviously, I mentioned the other 2 children in the previous video, with my current boyfriend, which is crazy because he was my boyfriend back when I was 21. We was together for a couple years. We broke up in 2017 when I graduated with my bachelor's, and you know I did a little partying, and you know, and we ended up trying to make it work again. Ended up having my 1-year-old. We ended up deciding we don't want to make it work, and then we ended up messing around some more. It ended up conceiving my son, who was he's about to be 6 months in a couple of days, and now we're back together. Decided to, you know, see where we can go. So that's that story. Ain't no little meeting that. But anyway, so we what was I going with that? So now to give you the backstory with that, I actually decided while I was pregnant with my daughter, my 1-year-old, I was pregnant with her in 2018. I decided to go back to school and to go for nursing. So I actually just decided to do that, and for what I have to do, I have to get I want to say 3 different classes as a prereq in order to get into nursing school, which is the Bio 137, Anatomy and Physiology 1 and 2, and then Microbiology, and I'm pretty much in that baby. So, because I already have psychology, obviously, because you know I was all over the place with all these classes. I already got my nurse's aid certificate, so I'm HRA certified, so you have to have that. And yeah, so I'm actually, back when I was saying my daughter, I actually signed up in 2018 in the summer, and my daughter was actually due in the summer in July. So I signed up to a school in the middle of me knowing I'm about to have this baby. And I was like, oh, let me go ahead and just withdraw, because any day I had this baby and it's just too much. So I withdrew, and then I turned around and signed up again, and it was spring. So my little girl, my 2 little ones are exactly a year apart. So I got pregnant with my son in October of 2019. And I signed up for school for, I got pregnant with him in, I think I said October. End of October, early November, just like I did with her. And that was in 2019. And I signed up to go start school in spring of 2020. And it was a lot going on. And I ended up, actually I dropped in the summer. So in the summer of 2019, I'm sorry. In summer of 2019, I dropped, and then I dropped the class. What I mean, I didn't drop the baby. I dropped the class in the summer of 2019, and then in the spring of 2020, I withdrew because I actually went further through with the class, and it was like, oh, it's too much. So I withdrew because honestly, when you're going into nursing and trying to find your nursing, you do need to know top of your game. Anybody who is or has applied for nursing knows that. So I didn't want to mess up. I didn't want to make any mistakes. I didn't want to end up with a B. I said, this is probably where I need to not do that. But I said to myself, I want A's, you know. So I ended up doing that. And now it's 2020. I'm on birth control. I'm not doing no more babies. And I am enrolled in school again. Just into Bio 137, or Human Anatomy Physiology 1. So my classes actually start next week, and I already have the book because I had the book from the summer of 2019 and the kit, which I'll make a video showing that stuff for the people who are interested. That video will be going up after this video. So I already have the kit and stuff. I actually only use the pH sticks from out of the kits from the spring semester, so I had to go on Amazon or something and buy some more pH sticks. Other than that, everything's in there, and I'll show what's in the actual kit in the next video. But yeah, so I'm back where I started 10 years later. That's 10 years later, and that's crazy. And that's why I say it's important to, you know, stick to what you want. If you know in your heart you want something, this is what you want, you're dead set on it. Don't let nobody, I mean nobody, or nothing keep you from it, or deter you from that, because other people will feel like, oh, it's not going to work, or why do you want to do that? And even now, I'm 29, and people are still saying to me, why do you want to do nursing? Why would you want to do nursing? And like there's so many people doing nursing. Why do you want to do that? And just the negative stuff. Just get out my face. Okay? Don't listen to nobody, because it ain't their life, and they don't know what they're talking about anyways. Especially if they ain't did it. If you ain't been to college, you ain't did it, you don't know what you're talking about anyways. Not to be mean or nasty, but you know. So anyway, so just always stick to what it is that you want to do in life. Don't let nobody deter you from that, or make you feel insecure about that, And that's the thing, is that people have a tendency to make other people feel insecure about the things that they want to do, just because they're insecure about it. So they're putting their stuff onto you, and it's hard, especially when you're young. But some young people actually are very strong, and they're not as insecure when it comes to their goals or aspirations. But some of us are not, and we're easily deterred from what we want to do based off of other people and their opinions. But please do not do that, because you end up right back where you started, which is where you want to be in the first place. So you did all of this, took all these detours, just to end up right back over here. What? Because somebody said that you couldn't do it, or because somebody didn't think you should do it, or because they felt some way about it? Never again. I would never do that again. Never let anybody be in the way of what I want to do, or make me feel insecure about what I want to do. People always have something to say. And that's something my dad taught me. But I'm done with this video, because I said I was going to keep it short, but it's just as long as the first one. Anyway, so I enjoyed talking to you ladies and you gentlemen, and I'm going to put up another video basically just going over what's in my kit for the bio, and then kind of show, I got a couple of little school supplies or whatever, and I'll kind of show that as well too in the next video. So thank you for coming, thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe and hit that like button, and thank you. Bye.